For every Olympic winner, there are hundreds of Olympic losers. Some are graceful in defeat, some not so much. Some lose by the narrowest of margins, and some never had a hope. But amongst all the broken dreams and the disappointment, all the frustration and all the tears, there is one story that stands above the rest. Or should that be below the rest? A collection of athletes so inadequate, so unthinkably terrible as to become almost heroic in their ineptitude. The 1960 Olympic Games in Rome, an appropriate setting for a tragedy to unfurl. It was the stage for Tunisia's pentathlon team. Modern pentathlon is a sport comprising of 5 events: fencing, swimming, show jumping, pistol shooting, and cross-country running, which to the untrained eye appears to be a seemingly random mix, as if somebody scribbled down all of the activities they could think of, popped them in a large top hat, and picked out 5. The odd mixture of disciplines possibly explains why the guys weren't necessarily au fait with all of them. It also explains why they came third last, second last, and last in the individual competition. Take swimming, for example. Things got a little dicey when it became apparent that one of them was in trouble during the swim. By trouble, we don't mean in the competitive sense, more in the "so much trouble, please come and rescue me before I drown" sense. Shooting wasn't a whole lot better. One of our intrepid friends was removed from competition for firing too close to the judges, obviously aiming for dead last in both senses of the phrase. The riding discipline in pentathlon involves fence jumping, usually around 15. The kicker in the riding event is that the competitors don't meet their horses until just before the event, which in principle creates a parity of sorts. Not in this case. All 3 of our pals were unseated during the event. Their equestrian friends clearly as nonplussed with them as everyone else. The Tunisians scored a big fat 0. But they saved their best, and by best we obviously mean ridiculously absurd worst, for fencing. We've established these guys weren't much use at pentathlon, but it turned out that one of the gang was actually quite good at fencing. And he handled himself well in the heat of battle. The fencing event has a round-robin mechanic, so that each competitor is meant to face all the other competitors at least once. The Tunisians, however, had a cunning plan. They sent their good fencer out again and again, pretending to be one of his pals, hoping the fact that the mask each competitor had to wear would be enough to fox the organisers and his opponents. It wasn't. Rumbled, the Tunisians were of course disqualified from that part of the competition. In the final reckoning, every country other than Tunisia finished with a score between 10,000 and 15,000. The final tally for our friends, 5,126, which is the pentathlon equivalent of finishing 75 metres behind the winner in the 100 metres. We salute you, gentlemen, because for a brief moment, you showed us what it might be like if we were to compete in the Olympic Games.